Alright, welcome back to Meteorology 101. Here we go. We got one strut on. We put the lift kit on this 2000 Subaru last week. We got the rears done. Now we're going to do the fronts. We already did one side on the front, basically for a practice run. Now we're going to do right front for the video. I'm going to blow my pan away. Alright, so we got a lot of corrosion on this car. It's 21 years old, so we're going to clean that up a little bit, but that's going to be in another video. I did one side and ran out of treatment. We got some rust treatment from Permatex. Works pretty good, but we're going to I'm out of it, so I'm going to have to pick some more up and complete the rust treatment job. But right now, we're going to take off the ABS line. That's the ABS wheel speed sensor wire, and we're going to take off. On this other side there's a clip for the brake hose. We're going to have to cut that notch like we did on the last video. So right now this thing's going to be pretty frozen up, so let me find get a hammer. So we're just going to knock this clip off the brake hose, and then we're going to notch out that strut out, the old strut, to be able to replace it. So we're putting the new struts on with the spacers. This thing's pretty frozen up. I may end up breaking it, I don't know yet. Pretty rusty. Hasn't been off since 2000. Starting to move. Alright, save that clip. Just a clip that holds the brake hose in place. Now the hose is loose. Now we can cut the we can notch that strut out so we can get the hose out of there. Alright, so I'm going to hold this down so it's out of the way from my face and cut this off. One. There it is. Now, get the hose off. Okay, so now we can go after the strut bolts. But first, I'm gonna take off the. Make sure you can see that. There's a sway bar link in here. I'm gonna disconnect that sway bar link. There's a 12. Surprisingly, a lot of these suspension bolts haven't broken. Alright, haven't been froze up in the bushings. Alright, that's the sway bar bolt, the sway bar link on the front. I do need brake pads. It'll be another day. Alright, we're ready to go after the strut bolts. Now this one is actually The top bolt is a centric bolt that spins and allows the camber adjustment. So I'm going to kind of run look in the greatest shape. But actually, it's got a washer behind it, so I'm going to. There's a notch right here. I'm going to line that right up with that notch and just ping it. Now, has a ding in the nut. See if we can see that. It's right there. It's hard to see on camera, but there's a little notch there. Well, that made no sense whatsoever. What we're going to do, we're going to get a chisel real quick. Alright, so this bolt, I want to put it back in where I took it off. So I'm going to notch this head on it. So I'm just going to line it right up with that notch. Alright, got a little nick in it, so that's all I need to see. Take the bottom bolt off. The rust off of it. Surprisingly, these bolts don't freeze up on these. So it looks like they use some anti-seize from the factory. So the bolts hold up pretty good. All right, so that fell right out. Now, you can see the way this bolt is made. When you twist it, it actually moves the camber on the car. This notch is pretty much kind of angled to the front, just a hair. So we're going to put that back where we got it. Get this off. Now, get the strut out. Got 3 nuts on top and the strut will fall out. So one thing I got to watch is that it doesn't fall out and land on my CD boot and rip it. So out of my knee. Okay, here we go. Let's get this out of the way. We don't want to tear that one. Okay, so I got new nuts to put on it, so I don't care about the one that went flying. Alright, so the only problem I got with the new struts now is that bearing plate is different. So I'm going to have to clean this one up, paint it, put it on the new strut, repack this bearing. That bearing's open. So we're going to get that done, and then once I have this assembled with the spacer, we'll be back and put it back in. So right now, my strut compressor is pretty much a piece of crap, so I'm not going to really worry about too much about putting that on film. So I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, we're back. We got the strut together, and with the 3-inch lift spacer, so we're going to go up in there with it. So the only thing, I got the sway bar link disconnected, so I can pretty much control them as much as I want. Just got to watch the ABS sensor. We're going up in here and try to start a nut at the top. So got a few nuts. Got a couple nuts ready up here. Here we go. I painted the spacer to keep it from curling too bad. This rag out here, you can see. So a little bit harder. It does get pretty tough getting these in there. out of the way. The old one's out of here. So we got the 3 nuts at the top started. Got our strut in. ABS lines are on the right side. Brake toward the back. Now we can tighten up these top bolts, nuts. There's only 8mm bolts, so we're not going to sit there and beat on them for a while. Don't need to be that tight. Most of the weight's down on the car, so we're good to go there. Now we can get this spun around. Get a bolt into the. First, I'm going to spray some paint on there. Get that some Rust-Oleum. Get that rust covered up. Alright, now I need a new bolt. What do I do with that? Alright, now we need the 12. Now that's going to sit right on there. Now we're going to have to cut this new strut so we can get that brake line in without breaking into the system. And so you can do it however you want. I'm going to cut mine. This is for me, so I'm not too worried about it. Chunk taken out of that blade. I gotta watch that. Make sure I don't get shrapnel across the face. It'll be easy with it, that's all. Alright, let's get this lined up and we can get that brake hose back on. Now we got that bolt, put the notch in. Right there. The light on this thing. So that's not the one. Here it is. The one that off to line this thing. Alright, we pretty much had that facing right toward that notch. You know, it should be good. We had the washer on that one. I'm going to take some grease, put on the threads. Keep it from freezing up. In the dirt, so clean that off. Alright, there's some on the studs. And alright, let's go after the bottom bolt. Find out what we need to do here. Screwdriver. Way out. Okay. Now, try to line up that hole on this side so we can shove the bolt in the other side. Makes it a little bit easier. There we go. Okay. So we tap it through. to it. Punch. There we go. Alright, pretty hot out here today. Let's get some grease on the threads. Alright, we've got one with a washer, one without. The one with the washer goes on the centric bolt that will allow us to align this thing. We're just kind of putting it close. We got to get it aligned anyway, so we don't really, not really majorly concerned about that. Now, get my notch up there. Tighten up the top one first. One. Gotta find my 19 impact socket. Alright. I'll get dug it torqued. Here we go. Let's get this through on the brake line. Get this started. Out here, hold it through now. Okay, see if we can tap that in. Fell out. Let's find it. Alright, where did you go? Here it is. Running out of daylight here. Sweating like a pig. Alright. To see, make sure we can catch the notch in that hose. Not going. Let me see if I can find the light. Make sure we're recording. Alright, we're recording now. What do we got? Alright, let's see what we can see now. I know you can't see much from that angle, but I'm going to try to get this clip on this brake line started. We've got to catch both sides of that groove. Kind of rusty. The clip's kind of bent, so sits in that groove. So we got to pull it through enough to catch the groove. And cut the hose. Wow. And the gloves save your hands, but they ain't worth a shit really for clips and stuff to get caught on everything. So anyway, you're probably gonna have some crappy light. These lights suck anyway. I mean, you know, they end up everywhere you don't need them. Alright, so what we got here? Oh, come on, here we go. Looks like it's lining up right there. Maybe. Alright, there it's on. Alright, probably going to replace that clip anyway, because that was pretty crusty and pretty old. It's not going to last long, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm not going to hook up the sway bar links just yet. If I do, I'm going to have to drop that sway bar or get a different sway bar, or extend the links actually. most likely thing to do. So for right now, I'm gonna throw the wheel back on it. I'll drop it down, get a couple pictures, and see where we're at. I'll get back with you here in a minute.